Hey everyone, it's Ethan Ormes back again for another video today, guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's been a while, but we're finally here with a brand new series. Now, this is a series I wanted to start like a week ago, but I've been having so many issues with recording, and I've just learned so much this week that my brand new 24-inch iMac so much doesn't work on it, and it's really upsetting because I really expected this to make my life so much easier for recording, but honestly it's made my life so much harder. So I apologize. Well, at least for gaming videos it was supposed to be so much easier, but it's honestly made it worse. The quality of these videos aren't going to be that high. I know franchise isn't the most, insane high quality video content you need, but still I want it to be enjoyable for you guys. So nonetheless, of course, we are here for some NHL 21 22. What is this game? Is this 22? Yeah, NHL 22 franchise mode, and we're going to be going with the Washington Capitals. Of course, you see that by the title of today's video. We're going to be building my own dynasty. So let's go into it. Let's go take a look at what Washington looks like. So top players of Ovechkin, Carlson, and Backstrom. Of course, some very good players. Let's take a look around the league. So the highest overall teams in the Pacific Division are Edmonton and Vegas, which honestly I would agree with. It's honestly a pretty competitive division, though. Over in the Central, the highest rated team is the Winnipeg Jets at an 89. Which is very, very high. A pretty competitive division apart from Arizona. Oh my god, 80 overall. Then in the Eastern Conference, the Atlantic, an 89. Toronto and Tampa, understandable. 88 Montreal, very high, and an 88 Boston as well. To be fair, I see those four teams being four teams that can make it out of the Atlantic, but I think Florida does too. And then, of course, we're going to the Metro, which is probably the weakest division in the league, although Carolina is very strong, but we're tied for third, so not bottom of the barrel, but not top of the barrel either. So, of course, like I said, we are going to be doing the Washington Capitals. Let's hop into this. If you guys know me, I do owner mode off, player morale off, and head coach at the lines off. Of course, I'm going to keep the salary cap on, and of course, I'm going to be keeping CPU trades on as well. And there are a couple of rules I change here as well. In the advanced rules, so I always do 4-4 game style, even though I don't know how much it really changes things. I always have injuries off, and I have period length 20 minutes, so then it's a little more accurate. Franchise mode length, of course, is going to be 25 years. Whether we're going to go through those 25 years, I don't know. And then apart from that, I think that'll be all for that. And then there's one more thing I want to do. I always turn NHL injury return warning to both, even though I have injuries off. And I always turn retired jerseys off as well, because I think that's just kind of adds a level of fun to franchise that is nice to have. So we're, of course, like I said, going to keep the salary cap on. And man, I'm really excited for this. I asked Taylor to pick a team, any NHL team, for this series. And of course, we've done a few NHL teams before. Let me just see. I wrote down a list. Let me see which ones I've done before. So I've done Philadelphia, Chicago, and Minnesota. And I got Taylor to pick a random team for us. And she chose Washington. So now we've done 2 Western Conference and 2 Eastern Conference teams, which is exciting. Now, before we hop into anything here, I'm going to take a look around the team. I've only done 1 season of simulation so far. I did it with the Edmonton Oilers. I was actually able to win the Stanley Cup first year. So we'll see what happens. We are listed as a buyer, which is nice. I do really like the menu for franchise mode this year. It looks pretty sweet. Let's take a look at what the team looks like, though. So we've got Ovechkin at a 92. Very, very good. Backstrom, Oshie, Mantha, Kuznetsov, Wilson, Sheary, Eller, Hathaway, Sprong, Dowd, and Hagelin as our forward core. Defensively, we have Orlov, Carlson, Schultz, Chalowski, Irwin, Jensen. And then for goalies, of course, Ilya Samsonov and Vitek Vanacek. A very, very, very good tandem that are 2 really young goalies that are very positive, or that are very, or that have very high positive. Sorry, my God. I am intrigued to see. I don't know what I'm gonna do about these lines. I feel like playing Mantha and Wilson isn't that smart, but Man, it is so hard to see the plus overalls on this screen. This is absurd. Um, let's take a look at the AHL. Because, of course, I'm sure we have some players here that are going to be important to us for the future. I'm just going to see. I'm not too familiar with the Washington Capitals franchise, or really any franchise nowadays apart from Toronto and Edmonton. We've got some decent AHL defensemen, though, of course. Alexander Alexiev is very, very important for us. He's going to deserve all the ice time he can get, and I want him to be getting the highest plus-minus he can. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Lucas Johansson is also a pretty important player, although I don't know if he grows. So I guess, yeah, TVR and Kempney are just going to be shot down to the bottom pairing, unfortunately, but that's just kind of the way it goes right now. And then goalies, I mean, Phoenix Copley is a goalie in the AHL, which, honestly, very good trade fodder that we could have, which would be really, really cool. Let's take a look at players that are expiring, because I don't really know. So Justin Schultz expires at the end of this season. Is that it? No, of course, Dennis Cholowski as well. You know what, let's just sort it by all players, and we'll see expiring. So we've got Schultz, Cholowski, Kempney, Sprong, Dowd, Irwin, Johansson, Leeson, Vecchione, Pino, Gersich. What about goalies? I think Samsonov expires, right? He does, and so does Vanacek. So maybe instead of trading Copley, we keep Vanacek. Or, sorry, instead of trading Copley, we trade Vanacek since he's on an expiring deal. And we may not be able to retain his play, or his playing, I guess. He does want a decent amount of money, but of course Samsonov is the goalie we want. Now, obviously I can't sign him yet. I'm going to have to wait a little while. As for defensemen, the important ones are Schultz and Cholowski. The rest are all kind of expandable. I wonder what we can do for Schultz, what he's looking for. Honestly, not a bad contract. We don't have very much money, though, so we got to be careful on that front. I'm sure there are some players that we could knock off, though, or knock off the cap, though. And for forwards that are important, Brett Leeson is probably pretty important. I'm not going to sign him yet. I mean, it's something we could look at, but I'm not too worried about it right now. Daniel Sprong is, of course, a player that could be pretty big for our future as a bottom sixer, I'd say. But again, the absolute priority is Ilya Samsonov, and I'm worried to see how much money he's going to want by the end of this season. Let's take a look at free agency, because I believe there are some players in free agency. Some that we could add, I'm sure. I don't know if there's going to be any that I add, but Eric Stahl is an interesting one. Dominic Cahoon is an interesting one. Carl Soderberg is a really solid two-way forward. I really like his defensive stats. Like, they're really, really strong. What about goalies? Again, not that a goalie is something we need. Tuukka Rask is there, and he's looking for very minimal money. My God, Devin Dubnyk has gone downhill. Unbelievable. Yeah, well, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do here, guys. I mean, let's edit the trade block, because there are some players on the trade block I wouldn't mind getting rid of. Well, maybe not getting rid of, but at least expanding on. Is that Connor McMichael? Yeah, Connor McMichael is our highest touted prospect, although so is Hendrix Lapierre. He is up there as well. So let's sort of by overall. Well, out of a salary cap standpoint, who is expiring that's important? Or who is really expensive? I mean, Tom Wilson is pretty expensive. I would definitely prefer Mantha over Wilson, even though Mantha's making 600K more. Dmitry Orlov's kind of making a lot of money as well. Justin Schultz, I mean, he's making a decent amount of money, but he expires this season. Lars Eller, that's a lot of money. Carl Hagelin, that's a pretty bad contract. I would not mind giving up. Let's continue on looking through the salary cap of things. I mean, Nick Jensen is a really solid defenseman. Probably a little underrated here in NHL. But that's a cap hit I wouldn't mind getting rid of because it definitely clears up some space for us, which is something we kind of need right now. Who else is out there that can expire? Oh, Connor Sheary. I don't even remember seeing his name on the team. Garrett Hathaway is another player that's kind of on the fence of, do I really need him? Goalies. I think Vanacek I'm going to put on the block, and we keep Phoenix Copley. But I'm not too sure about that one yet. And then I want to look at defensemen because there were a couple defensemen we have. So we've got Carlson, Schultz, Orlov, Cholowski, Jensen, and Irwin in the NHL. But I think I would rather Kempney, although what are the handedness of these players? Carlson is right, Schultz is right, Orlov is left, Cholowski is left, Jensen is right, Kempney is left. So I guess that makes sense. Why Kempney is in, or why Irwin is in over Kempney, I don't know. So I'll put TVR on the block as well. I think that makes sense. And then let's go and take a look at what our team could look like here. Let's make a few roster moves first. And we'll see what this team looks like. So Michael Kempney can come up to the NHL. Phoenix Copley can stay down in the NHL, but or down in the AHL, sorry. How many players do we have up? Connor McMichael, Hendrik Lapierre, Nick Dowd can all go down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We only have 11 forwards up here right now. So defensemen, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So Irwin and Fehervari can go down, and we need a forward to bring up. It'll be Nick Dowd. All right, so there we go. We've got our 21 NHL players, and we're just going to do best lines at first, because why not? And we'll see how much these guys, or how this team is going to look, I guess, sorry. So, Ovechkin, Backstrom, Oshie. I mean, I kind of want Mantha on that top line, but I don't know. Tom Wilson on the third line, I feel like is a bit low. Connor Sheary, can I move him up the lineup? Lars Eller. Man, these guys, I need people to be able to play with Tom Wilson and Lars Eller. I'm going to have to put Tom Wilson on that second line, I think. And wow, it is not looking good for our lines down here. I mean, I want to play Lars Eller on the third line. I mean, that would be my ideal third line. But they're getting -2 right now, which obviously isn't ideal. So I think I'm going to have to do Nick Dowd on the third line instead. And then defensively, Orlov. I mean, I kind of want to play Cholowski and Carlson together. Give them some time. Then Orlov and Schultz and Kempney and Jensen. Like, I think that's a pretty solid decor, to be fair. And then, of course, I want Ovi playing on the wing over there. I don't know why he was not. Kind of have too many righties, but that's okay. I mean, I could give Connor Sheary some time up on top. Or what about instead of Connor Sheary, someone like Daniel Sprong? I don't know about Daniel Sprong's offensive stats. He's got a decent shot. Not bad. What about other players up front? Actually, you know what? Screw it. Let's do Mantha. I think that'd be pretty good. So then Oshie's on the second unit with Tom Wilson, Lars Eller, Justin Schultz, and instead of Anthony Mantha, we will have Connor Sheary can go in there. I mean, that's not bad. Those are two pretty solid units, I'd say. The 4-man power play I'm not as worried about. And the penalty kill is something I am worried about. Nick Dowd, very, very good defensive stats. Lars Eller as well. Orlov and Carlson are a really good tandem. Nick Backstrom has really good stats, so I don't really know if I want him playing defensively. I don't want that to be one of his worries. Anthony Mantha, stats aren't as good as I was expecting. Garnet Hathaway is on that unit. Well, why not Carl Hagelin? Obviously very fast. Can one of them take face-offs, though? No. So one of them will have to go up to the first unit, which is fine. I think I'm going to play Garnet Hathaway. Actually, Nick Dowd. Okay, yeah. So Eller, I mean, 86 speed isn't that bad. So we're going to do Hagelin and Dowd because Dowd is the slowest. No, sorry. Hathaway is the slowest, but it's a little bit more even with Lars Eller. So that's okay with me. Kempny and Jensen will probably be our second unit. I'm okay with that. And then 3-man is going to be Dowd and Eller, of course. As for extras, I mean, extras, Oshie, TJ Sochi has to be number 1, of course. Backstrom, Ovi, Carlson, Schultz, Oshie, Kuznetsov, Eller, Mantha, Orlov. I'm okay with that. 4-4, Backstrom, Ovi, Carlson, Kuznetsov. Then we've got Oshie, Jensen, Schultz, and Mantha. I don't think either Mantha or Oshie can play face-off. Well, Oshie has decent face-offs at least, so you know, there we go, guys. That's what our team is going to look like for now. Of course, Samsonov and Vanacek are going to be our top line, or our goalie tandem, sorry. And then as for the AHL, I'm just going to do best lines. Let's see what it looks like. Connor McMichael, Hendrix Lapierre. I would like both of them in the top 6 if possible. Is there anyone I can put up to get those two an extra plus? Not looking like it. That's alright. Defensively, again, Alexiev needs to go up. Martin Fehervari could be pretty solid. Cody Franzen can come out. Or is that Jordan Subban? It is. Lorio. What about Vinny Lorio? Sure, let's give Vinny Lorio some time to play. Actually, I was just looking at right defenseman. There was a left defenseman I was looking for. Lucas Johansson. Alright. We're going to keep Fehervari up there instead. So, there we go, guys. So, that is going to be the team ready to go. I'm excited to see what this looks like. We'll sim to the regular season. We'll see what these... We're already getting trade requests. No thank you, though. We're going to see what the preseason looks like. I am intrigued. Salary cap compliance. Okay. Players on waivers. Okay. Scout assignments. Not too worried about it. So let's see how we did in the preseason. I see that we had won our last game. We won 1, or 1-1, or 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 2-1-1, 3-1-1, 3-2-1, 4-2-1. So not a bad preseason. We get to start off the season against the New York Rangers, who are having a decent start to the season so far in real life. We're going to slow sim the game because why not? Make it a little more dramatic than what it actually is. So the first period of Game 1 here in 2021. Let's see what's up. We get the opening goal. Nick Jensen gets the opening goal of the NHL season for us. Second period, we have Anthony Mantha on the power play. So that power play already working out well, which I am glad to see. And then the third period, let's see if we can hold on to this lead and see if we can get away with this win. We do have a 2-goal lead heading into the last half of the third period. Ovechkin makes it a 3-goal lead, actually, right before that. TJ Oshie makes it 4-0. Power play for the Rangers. Chris Kreider gets a power play goal, so we won't get a shutout for Samsonov. Nonetheless, he still has 22 saves, make it 23 saves on the night. And we win our home opener and our first game of the season. Ovi with 3 points, Backstrom with 3 points, and Oshie with 2 points. Not a bad start to the season, guys. And I'm hoping that's going to be a big theme for this season and for this series. We're going to be able to win. Let's just hope we can actually continue that. So we'll sim the first month. We're actually almost done this month in real life. The Capitals and Coyotes play tonight. Actually, they might already be playing. It is 11 o'clock, so depends on where they are. Ouch. Ouch. Really ouch. Oh, my. Okay, so we win our first game, and then we lose, what was it, 5 straight or 4 straight? Yeah, we lose 7-1, 5-1, 2-0, and 4-0. That was not a good stretch there at all. 4 straight losses, getting outscored, what is that, 12, 14, 16 to 2. Yeesh. That's really, really poor. All right, well, we've got 2 more games to do before we reach our first 10 games. So let's see what we can do. A 7-6 loss in regulation to Tampa and a 5-4 shootout win against the Florida Panthers, and that makes it 4-6-0 in our first 10, which is not a great start, but hopefully it's just new season jitters. We'll sim to the 1st of December. We get a trade request for TVR. We get 2 draft picks, which I feel is something we're honestly missing here in the Washington Capitals franchise. I'm not 100% sure, though. Let's see. Well, you know what? We've got a decent amount. We've got all our picks, except for our second rounder, here in year 1. What about in future years? You know what? We're actually doing way better than I thought. I felt like Washington was the type of team to be just dealing. So you know what? Sure, let's do this trade. I mean, they're off to a great start. I guess it's probably makes sense for us to get the draft picks right now. We're going to go to roster moves. Let's just go and edit the AHL lines. I'm just going to toss another defenseman in there. I'm not too worried about it. Let's toss in Vinny Lorio. Get some ice time in there, buddy. And we'll make sure that he is actually in the lineup as well. Okay, there we go. Let's do Hendrix Lapierre. And instead of Matt Irwin, we're gonna do Connor McMichael. And get those players. Excuse me. Get those players some ice time because those are going to be some important players for us upcoming. And we're simming. What is happening? Why are we simming through the AHL? What is happening? What is the schedule right now? Why are there AHL teams and NHL teams? What is happening? Please stop showing the AHL games. That was so odd. Anyways, we're up to 12-10-1, which isn't a great record, but it's not horrible. 25 points right now is towards the bottom half of the division. We're actually only 2 points out of last place, but we're also only 7 points away from first. So, and if we were in the Pacific, we'd be in first right now. So, very different divisions across the board so far. OV in 23 games is leading the way with 21 points, and 13 of those are goals. Kuznetsov with 20 points. Mantha with 19 points. He's having a wicked start to the season. Nick Backstrom, 19 as well. Tom Wilson, 15. Carlson and Oshie, 14. Daniel Sprong with 9, which isn't a bad start. Does anyone not have a point? Or everyone's on the point board. Let's go. Goalies. Oh, Jesus. Our goalies are struggling. My God. Jesus. What the hell can I do to help them? What is our penalty kill like? Oh yeah, our goals against are really bad right now. We do not have a good power play percentage either. And our penalty kill is very poor. It's the worst in the Metro. Okay, so I guess maybe we should probably be changing the special teams up a little bit. Man, that's very, very odd. Let's go to special teams. Let's see what we can change here. I mean, I would like to keep Mantha up there, but obviously I want to keep Kuznetsov up there as well. I don't really want to change that top unit. know what? Let's put Backstrom on the point. Backstrom's obviously a passer, so I mean that would kind of make sense. Let's try Tom Wilson on the right instead, and then Sheary down low or up top right. Sorry, as a shooter, and then the penalty kill. Our penalty kill has not been good, so let's try Eller and Hagelin. Let's try Kempney and Carlson with Orlov and Jensen. It's something to try out, I guess. We'll give it some time. We'll see if that helps at all. We are 7-2-1 in our last 10 games, so maybe on an upwards trend, but still not a great start to the season. We will sim to the new year and see what the team is looking like. We're on a 4-game losing streak, 5-6 game losing streak, 7, 8. We finally get a win, but then we're back into the L column. And that was a really poor month. 16, 17, and 3. We're at the bottom of the Metropolitan right now. Mantha leading the team in points. That was a very, very weak month. Maybe I shouldn't have changed anything. Jeez, that was really poor. Man, you know what? I'm just going to try best lines because that was definitely the worst month of the year that we've had. Let's just try it and see if that will help us out at all. I don't even want to check the goalie stats. They're probably going to look so poor. So let's move on to February. Where's the deadline? Oh, the deadline's in March? What the hell? That's odd. Anyways, I guess we'll sim through February now. We get the win with the best lines. Sweet. Okay, so far with best lines, well, before that loss to Bruins, or a loss to the Bruins, we were on a 8-point streak. Or, sorry, 8-point streak, 7-point streak, I guess. I do not want Michael Delzato. Thank you very much, though. No. Oh. Sorry, guys. Man, I'm tired. It's tough working 2 jobs, let me tell you, man. Jason Demers, no thank you. You do not have to come back to Washington. Will Butcher. That's an interesting one. That would definitely up our defense for the year. That is something we could come back to for sure. Of course, like I said, the deadline isn't that far away. Oh, we're simming through January and February. Sorry, my bad. Again, Jason Demers isn't a player I'm really looking into. We'll definitely keep in mind Will Butcher, though. We're up to a wild card position, so that was a pretty good stretch. We're up to 27, 23, and 4. The Toronto Maple Leafs are 33, 18, and 2. And yeah, so we're only 3 points out of the third place position, but we're still very close to the bottom of the division. This is a very, very strong division. Oh man, the Blackhawks are at 81 points, 38, 12, and 5. They are not doing that good in real life. I'm pretty sure they're 0-7 right now, which is pretty poor, of course. Well, let's take a look at some stats. Of course, I'd say that was probably the best stretch of the year we've had so far. So, 46 from Kuznetsov, 44 from Mantha, 43 from Ovi, 41 from Backstrom, and 34 from Carlson, which isn't bad. We have, 7 30-plus point scorers right now, which isn't bad. So no one's completely carrying the load. Daniel Sprong with 26 points. Not bad at all. Justin Schultz, honestly, not doing bad either. The lowest point total right now is Nick Jensen, but he's a very defensive defenseman, so I'm not really expecting him to put up points. Now, the moment of truth, goalies. So Vanacek has improved, but Samsonov has not. His stats are still pretty damn poor. Like, those are really, really poor stats, but obviously Samsonov is the goalie for us in the future, and obviously we're going to be sticking with him. So let's just sim to the deadline, I think, guys. I'm not really sure what we can do here. Bjorklund is intriguing because every team seems to want him. Josh Bailey and Zdeno Chara for Alex Alexiev, a second rounder, and Hanelt. No thank you. Although that is an interesting trade offer, I am okay. Central scouting rankings, nah, I'm good, brother. And we are going to be a conservative buyer, I think. There are some things I want to trade, I think. So let's enter the trade deadline, and we'll see what's up. So Giroux on the block, Spurgeon, Forsberg, Krug. That's an expensive contract, man. Mackenzie Blackwood is interesting. Not that we... Oh. Apparently TJ Oshie is on the block. Well, let's go find a trade for some of these players. Let's just sort it by salary that we were looking at earlier. Some players that I was interested in moving on from. I mean, really, Hagelin, Jensen, and Hathaway could all go. But Hagelin's actually having a decent season. So is... I mean, Jensen's not having a bad season. Hathaway... Keselowski's up to an 81, which is nice to see. Huh. I don't really know what to do here, guys. There's really tough decisions to make. I think I'm going to look into Garnet Hathaway. Let's see if there's anything out there. We get 2 picks from Chicago, Colorado, Edmonton, New Jersey, Pittsburgh, Tampa, and Vegas and Winnipeg, sorry. It's 6-7 all the way around. I would rather it be the Western Conference, so let's see. Is there anyone that has multiple years, or are they just both for the same year? They're both for the same year. So let's do the Oilers. I'm sure they would love some winger help. Connor McMichael can come up to the NHL, sure. Like I said, honestly, I mean, Hagelin isn't doing bad, but is that someone I want to get rid of right now? I don't know. As for defensemen, let me see. I mean, really, it's Nick Jensen. Like, he's just the odd man out here, which means we'd have Carlson and Orlov, Schultz, and Cholowski, Kempney, and someone, probably Alexiev, honestly, for the last half of the season here, or the last quarter, I guess. Yeah, let's look for Jensen. Let's see if we can get rid of Jensen. Lots of trades here. I was gonna say, is there any way we can get a third? We can get Stuart Skinner, some extra goalie help for the future, or Olivier Rodrigue. Martin Ferk is an interesting player. Oscar Lindblom. I think that's Oscar Lindblom. Wait, no, that was a goalie. Never mind. Who's that? Oh, Lindblom. I think that's Oleg Lindblom, or I'm not sure. I don't remember. Ian Scott. Nice. Not that we really need a goalie, but there is a lot of goalie offers out here. Martin Ferk is an interesting player. What overall is Martin Ferk? Let's see. I'm really not sure, so let's see. He's a 78. He's not doing too bad. Pretty well-rounded stats, except for a very solid shot. I don't really know. I don't really know. I don't really like the idea of doing Martin Ferk, so I think instead... Oh, we get a trade offer for Connor Sheary. 2/3, Connor Sheary a 4th for a 2nd, and Oliver Rodrigue. I'm going to decline that. Thank you, though. So let's go back. We'll see if we can find a trade for... who was that? For the defenseman, Nick Jensen. Let's see what we can do here. There might be some different offers now. Can I find trade, please? There we go. We got one more offer now. I think that might have been Calgary. You know what? I like the idea of getting a 4th. So let's do LA again. Send them to the Western Conference. LA's having a great year as well. Irwin is capable of coming up. Now, the real question is Vanacek someone we should be looking at extending or trading here? Because He's obviously got really good value right now. And of course, like I said, our goalie for the future is Ilya Samsonov, and I don't mind having Phoenix Copley as the backup at all. So the only offer we got right now is from the Sabres, who definitely need a goalie. 2 fourths. One's next year, one's this year. You know what? Instead of going for draft picks, I think I kind of want to look for a player. A player that's under a cheap contract that we could add to this team. Let's see what's out there. Someone that's on a cheap contract that we could have for a couple of seasons. Wow, Alex Galchenyuk has gone down quite a ways since, I don't know, probably 4 years ago. The guy has just flopped since then by the looks of things. I'm really just looking for an NHL player that could play for a couple years for us. That's decent. Thomas Harley. He's a very interesting player. Be a really solid defenseman to add to our team. And it's almost even value, too, to be fair. Florida, LA. See, I'm looking for someone that has a decent length to their contract, but it's just not something I can see, or I see here, I guess, sorry. We get a trade offer. Connor Sheary again for Martin Frolik. Honestly, Connor Sheary is one of the few contracts on this team I really don't mind. There's a decent amount of a decent amount of contracts on this team that I'm really not a fan of. Let's go back and look at Vanacek. Where were we? We were around Florida, I think. Let's continue on with the skaters matching the block. And we'll sort it by overall once again. Oh, yeah, we went through LA. Minnesota. We went through Minnesota. And I think we had gone through Montreal as well. Of course, a lot of the players that are going to be on the block are going to be expiring. So I guess maybe looking for a prospect is the better option. I don't really... Excuse me, sorry. I don't really know how to approach this right now. Seattle is selling. Kalle Järnkrok is a very nice player. That would be very nice on this team. Don't know how likely that is, though. It's really not looking good here for us, guys. For what I'm looking for, it doesn't seem very attainable. So I guess let's just look at a team that needs a goalie. Obviously not Arizona or Anaheim, sorry. Or Boston. I mean, honestly, Buffalo doesn't really need a goalie, I guess. Neither does Calgary. Neither does Carolina. Or Chicago. Or Colorado. Or Columbus. My God, there's a lot of good goalies out there. Jeez. Nedeljkovic and Greiss. It's a pretty solid tandem. Mike Smith and Koskinen. You know what? To be fair, Edmonton could probably really use a goalie. I know it doesn't look like they need one, but like, they kind of totally need one, right? Let's see if we could get a forward from them. That's someone that's on a few years that's not very expensive because they're just so pressed for cap right now. So the length and decency isn't very high right now. Let's look at skaters matching the block. So we got Samarukov and Broberg, which I don't think they would be trading Broberg. Maybe we just look at a draft pick. I do not know. I do not know. It's really tough. Like, I just don't even know who to target here. Man, it's actually friggin' tough. I really wasn't expecting it to be this bad. I mean, maybe Devon Shore is a possibility. No. I think we move on to another team. Florida is fine for goalies, and so should LA. Or LA should also be fine for goalies. They absolutely are. So was Minnesota. So was Montreal. So was Nashville. So was New Jersey. So, wait, who was a 90 overall? Oh, Tuukka Rask. That makes sense. Varlamov, very solid goalie. Shesterkin, really solid goalie. Ottawa could use a goalie. Ottawa could definitely use a goalie, especially with that friggin' Matt Murray cap hit. Jeez. Again, let's look for a forward. You know what? Maybe we should be looking for a defenseman instead. Yeah, there's really just no options for what I am looking for out there right now. Okay, well, what about defenseman, I guess? Something that we could look into. Artem Zub. It's a pretty solid defenseman. I don't know if they would want to get rid of him, though. Man, this really sucks. I really don't have many options for what's out there, I guess. You know what? I guess we're going to back out. We're just going to see what we can get for Vanacek again. I was hoping I was going to be able to find a trade myself, but honestly, not really. Oh, I did not mean to do that, my bad. Not really something I've been able to do, I guess. So, let's see. Vanacek, what teams out there want you? Still just Buffalo. We're going to do it. We'll accept it 2/4 for Vanacek. Phoenix Copley, of course, will come up to the NHL. And there we go. Interesting. Let's take a look at some other players that are out there right now to see if there's someone we could add to this team for help. The only player that's really jumped out at me was Calle Yarncroc. That's someone we could definitely add to this team for a little while, I think, depending on how much money he wants here in the offseason. So let's target Calle Yarncroc. And, sorry, did not mean to do that. What would be our forward core right now without Yarncroc? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Feel like someone has to go, and it's going to be Hagelin. I know Hagelin's been having a solid season for us, but it's the cap hit. It really is. Like, he's obviously cheaper than Yarncroc. Will that go through? I was going to say, man, that might go through, and if so, that would be crazy. We're definitely okay to give up a 7th. We'll give up our 7th this season. That's not going to go through, but we can continue to look on. There we go. We get Calle Yarncroc, which is, I think, a big upgrade for this team. Especially, definitely going to be able to bring us some offense. So that's nice. And wow, this video's been long. I did not expect it to be so long. Of course, it is an introductory episode. I didn't plan on going through a whole season. Christian Jaros, how good are you? Not bad. What is your contract looking like? Pending availability assigned? Interesting. I mean, not a bad player to honestly pick up from waivers. You know what? Screw it. Why not? Might as well. We accept him. And there we go. So, we are done the trade deadline. And we're in a pretty decent position right now. Let's take a look at what this team looks like now. So, Calle Yarncroc, Kuznetsov, and Mantha. That's a really fun line that I really like. Then we've got Wilson, McMichael, and Dowd. We're going to do Sheary instead. Like, fuck it, why not? Let's give Connor McMichael some ice time. Defensively, I'm going to put Jalowski on the top pair. And, yeah, I think that'll be fine for that. And then goalies, of course, Samsonov and Copley. Hopefully Copley can bring us some wins. We do have an even amount of forwards or of skaters and goalies up here as well. And I guess since we're already almost through this first season, we might as well head to the postseason because I really didn't expect to do all of this season, but it's been a pretty long episode. But you know what? It hasn't felt it. It's felt pretty quick, and it's been nice to be back on franchise. We have kind of taken off since the deadline. A little over, or sorry, we were a little over 10 positive. We are now back up to 10 positive. Staying around that 10 positive, which is very good. We have clinched a spot in the playoffs, and we get a 45-win season. We finished third in the Metropolitan Division. Ovi led the way with points and had 45 goals. And we get to play the New York Islanders here in the first round. So let's go take a look at some stats. Of course, Ovi right there with 78 points led the way. Pittsburgh won the division with New York in second and Carolina in fourth. Of course, we finished third. Toronto won the Atlantic Division. Can you not see the whole conference or the entire league? Why is it down in the middle? That's weird. How does that go alphabetically? That's kind of dumb. Anyway, Chicago wins the President's Trophy by 1 point, even though they had one less win than the Maple Leafs. 3 50-win teams this season in Chicago, Toronto, and Florida. We've got Dallas, Pittsburgh, New York, Winnipeg, Washington. So we finished 8th, which isn't too bad, especially considering there was a time where we were definitely in the bottom of the barrel this year. So very interesting. Buffalo makes the playoffs as well. A redemption season for them. Tampa misses the playoffs. That's surprising. And off to the start that the LA Kings and the Oilers have had so far in real life. Kind of surprised that they're not in there right now. Bottom of the league is the Minnesota Wild. Rip Kaprizov, he just re-signed not too long ago as well. Let's take a look at the rest of this team. Nick Backstrom with only 9 goals, but 72 points. What a beast. Mantha and Kuznetsov also with 70 points. We had 4 70-point scorers. That is very fucking solid. Oshie with 57, Carlson 54, Wilson 49. Kalyankrok only 36 points. Let's see, how did he do for us? 8 points in 20 games, which isn't great, but it could have been worse, that's for sure. And yeah, you want not a bad season. Connor McMichael, 5 points in 20 games, also is not too bad. Goalies, Copley, you know what? Copley did very solid in the 2 games he played, but Samsonov really, really struggled this season. Sorry, I guess we should take a look around the league. So let's see. The Art Ross will be going to Nathan McKinnon. Wow, ADB right up there, though. And it looks like Austin Matthews. Yeah, Austin Matthews will win the Rocket Richard. Ovechkin in second. And tied for third is Nazem Kadri and Nikita Kucherov. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Most assist. Oh, sorry, not points. Most assist, I'm guessing, is Backstrom. Yep. Highest plus minus goes to Noah Dobson. Very nice. Most penalty minutes goes to Kyle Clifford. Most shots goes to Nikita Kucherov. Best shooting percentage for someone that actually shoots the puck. We're going to go for at least 250 or more. Nazem Kadri, wow. So Nazem Kadri was the best goal scorer this season. The Norris will likely go to Cale Makar. Actually, probably go to Nick Leddy. Wow, Nick Leddy had a phenomenal season out in Detroit. 28 or plus 28 with 64 points is very solid. Where was Carlson? Carlson was not at the highest of the league, but he was up there for sure. Let's take a look at goalies. Peter Mrazek with 47 wins out in Toronto, probably winning the Vezina. That's crazy. I mean, Jack Campbell's getting more starts, but of course Mrazek is also injured right now, I believe. So, yeah, like I said, he probably wins the Vezina this year as well. Phoenix Copley, what a beast. Yeah, Peter Mrazek went off. Aiden Hill, though, a great backup out in San Jose. Rookie skaters. Let's see, Trevor Zegras with 52 points. Lucas Raymond with 50. 2 very highly touted prospects. I think Trevor Zegras is going to be scary good. Rookie goalies, let's see. Spencer Knight's out there, Dan Vladar, but Jeremy Swayman was the best goalie for rookies, stats, or statistically at least. So there we go, guys. That is going to be the end of today's video, guys. I'm so sorry. I really didn't expect it to be so long. It's almost 15 minutes now. But I hope you guys did enjoy, and really, welcome back to franchise. I'm super excited to continue with this series. So thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.